Well, hello there, and welcome to Cooking from the Cupboards. My name is Heather, and I'm happy that you joined me today. On today's video, I'm going to show you how I do my slow cooker corned beef. As St. Patrick's Day is coming upon us, a lot of people like to make corned beef, and this is a recipe I found years ago, and it's the only one that I will use to make corned beef. So I did write it down into my Happy Planner recipe collection. So I do have it written down there. But here, just about a week or so ago, I did talk about recipe binders. And I do have it written down or printed off and put into my beef recipe binder. And I did make notes, and it is on a recipe card, and it's in my Happy Planner recipe book. But I still use my recipe binders, and I just wanted to make mention of that because I did a video on recipe binders. It probably didn't make any sense, but I did a video nonetheless. So we're gonna make corned beef brisket. I do it just a little bit different, but this is what you will need. You're gonna need 4 large carrots, some baby potatoes, 1 onion, 4 cups of water, a brisket, 6 ounces of BEER, and a half a head of cabbage. Now, this is where I'm going to vary the recipe to our personal liking. I don't cook my cabbage or my potatoes in with my corned beef. I will do that separately. So this is what we're going to do. Now, I found my corned beef brisket. I bought it at Aldi. They have some on sale for $2.99 a pound, which is a really good deal nowadays. Most places are over $5 a pound. And this is a little over 2 pounds, so I paid a little over $6 for it. And it's going to be a nice size for the size of my family. So I am going to put it into my crocky pot here. And let me go ahead and get my carrots and my onion cut up, and I'll be right back. All right, so I cut up my carrots, and so I add them to the bottom of my crocky pot here because I'm going to make a shelf for the brisket here. And then I'm going to add my onion, and I just cut it in half and then cut it into thirds. And I'm just going to add that in there. Okay, so you add that to the bottom of your crocky pot, and then I'm going to take in my corned beef, and I'm just going to plop him in right there. And then we're going to pour in, so we added our carrots, our onions, and then our brisket or corned beef. Then we're going to add 4 cups of water. This is a small one, so I don't think I need the full 4 cups. I'm just going to do 3 cups because this is a small crock pot and this is a small corned beef. And then we're going to add 6 ounces of an adult alcoholic beverage. And then we're going to take our seasoning packet that comes with the corned beef, and I'm just going to cut it open, and I'm just going to sprinkle that on top. Just as easy as that. And that's it. That's all we have to do. And so I will put my lid on my crock pot. I'm going to put it in the insert, and I'm going to cook him on low for at least 8 hours. So this is our slow cooker corned beef. The recipe is from All Recipes, and I will have it down below for you. But this is my version of this recipe. So I follow the recipe, but I change it just a little bit. So I'm gonna get this cooking. Okay, so I'm gonna get the cabbage ready to go with the corned beef. And so this is a head of cabbage, and I peeled off the outer leaves. And so I am gonna cut off the core end here. Ah! He's rolling away. So I am going to cut it in half. This is a pretty big cabbage. We have our cabbage cut in half. And then we have our core piece right here. I don't know if you can see that. See how the core comes up like this? We want to keep that intact because I'm going to steam it and cook it in my Instapot. So let me pull this down just a little bit. So this is my Instapot, and I'm going to add enough water to come up to the rack because we're going to steam it. And my great-grandfather taught me this. And we would boil cabbage, and that's why we want to keep the core intact. So we are going to cut it in half. And that way it doesn't fall all apart. And then we're going to cut it again in half. So we're going to cut it into 4s because we're going to want it into wedges just like this. If we keep the core intact, we don't get the leaves flying everywhere. All right, simple as that. Then I'm going to take these and I'm just going to lay them into my Instapot here. Pull this up so you can see. I'm just going to lay them in here just like that. And then I'll put them in my Instapot and I will probably steam them. I'm not going to salt and pepper them because we'll do that after. So we have our cabbage wedges. So it's a half a cabbage. I left the core intact and I just sliced it into 4s. Okay, so I thought that since I don't cook my potatoes and my carrots and stuff in with my corned beef, and I'm going to steam the cabbage, and I already showed you how I prep that. I thought I would show you how I prep the potatoes and the carrots. So I just have some of these small little potatoes, and some of the bigger ones, I did cut them in half because I want them to be about the same mass size so they'll cook evenly. And then I have an onion that I just cut in 3rds and then cut into half. So I'm just going to add everything into my baking dish. And I'm not going to worry about greasing it because I'm going to add oil to this. Now you can do this on a sheet pan. I do it on a sheet pan all the time. But I wanted to put it into a casserole dish. So this is avocado oil. And I'm just going to drizzle some on top. Just a little bit. And then I'm going to take a little bit of salt. And this is Redmond's real salt. And I'm just going to sprinkle a little bit on top. This is about a teaspoon-ish. I'm going to do a little bit of pepper. You can measure all that with your heart. And then I am going to add a little bit of paprika because that is something that we like. And this is just a smoked paprika. It's not spicy at all. And it will give the potatoes and stuff a nice flavor. So all I'm going to do is kind of mix this up and get it well coated. And then an hour before my corned beef is to be ready or for dinner, I will put this in the oven. And I will bake this at 425 for about 45 to 55 minutes until they are well cooked. So whether it's, I'll check the potatoes and check the carrots and make sure that they're well cooked. So this is how I'm going to cook my potatoes, my carrots, and my onions to go with our corned beef and cabbage for dinner tonight. Okay, so here is the corned beef, the slow cooker corned beef. It's nice and tender. It's fork tender. It's just beautiful. Tastes wonderful. Then I have the cabbage that I cut into quarters, and you can just cut this piece off. There we have our slow cooker corned beef. Easy to do, especially if you are wanting to make one for St. Patrick's Day and never been able to make one. This is the most tender. You can cut it with a fork and it tastes absolutely phenomenal. So you have slow cooker corned beef. I want to thank you all for joining me today. Comment down below if you like corned beef. And if you could like, share, and subscribe, I'd really appreciate it. And we will see you all on the next video. Goodbye for now.